my calendar to October now.
Oh, I got to tell you though. I mean, Tom, that show, can you still hear?
What's he doing?
I didn't realize he was going to just walk off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So you take care of some chickens?
Yeah, 2 dogs, 3 chickens, and
okay, so I'm gonna bring him in. He doesn't know we're live yet.
Oh, okay.
So say something quickly.
Yeah,
we're live.
I know we're live. I can see it on the little corner of the screen. He thinks it's my first day.
All right.
I don't.
I was just saying. I was like, I don't know if he knows we're live yet.
Oh, I know we're live. It's 7 o'clock. It's the place to be.
That's right.
Dude,
So
I love the
was-
energy right off the bat, man. Hell
Yes, we're
yes.
coming in. We're coming in. How's everybody doing?
Awesome. I was
Very
looking for
good.
you on TV last night, and I didn't.
We were trying. I think the cameraman specifically were like, "Don't film these dudes."
Dude,
You
no.
guys were in like
Wait
the
until main
worst-
event.
that was
I'm
like
definitely on main event.
Yeah,
I'm definitely
sure.
on main event.
R-Truth came right over to the boys
We
right here.
we were rapping on main event with Archer, so I know I'm
Fuck
on.
yes.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
on TV. I am on TV, but Raw, they were like, don't get that guy.
Because he was on hard camera side, ring side, and ramp
Yep.
side, right on the corner. I saw the black hat with the red bill, and I was like, that's Nur-D for sure. Because one, I saw the Instagram posts with you
Yes.
and DJ Hayes and your fans and stuff. So
Yes, it was very fun. A very lovely show. We're obviously going to get into it, but
Did
as
your
an
fans enjoy it?
experience- Yes, they had this. So, it was a contest, WWE. So I had to be very mum's the word last time I was on here because everything was still kind of in the secrets. But WWE reached out to me to be a local entertainment ambassador for
Nice.
their shows when they come through. So basically what it meant, it was just like I was just promoting the show. I did a few things with the Minnesota Wild, just ramping up, like, hey, you know, the Raw's coming, like, you guys gotta buy your tickets, da 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 da. Then they would put me, hook me up with some ringside seats, and then give some out to the fans. So the fans, it was at random. So just pick the fans at random, whoever liked the post, and it was cool because the fans that I picked, the guy was like, "Yo, I am a huge wrestling fan. I've been watching for a very long time. I never win anything, and like here I am at like ringside, and to see his eyes bug out when I was like, okay, we're gonna keep going down. And he was like, how far? I was like, oh no, we're gonna be right there, guys, and we were right smack dab on the entrance ramp. Couldn't have got a better seat if you tried. We're yelling. We almost got we almost thought that Mustafa was gonna get thrown directly into our chairs. Like, it was wild. And I always try to remind myself I don't know these people. Every time SmackDown, Raw, WWE comes into town, I have to remind myself that just because you watch these people multiple times a week, every week, you do not know them. So, like, don't act the fool. Don't show your ass too much, because I'm like trying to talk like I'm familiar. I'm a stranger to these people. But it was very, very fun. It was a very, very good time.
well, if they know anything about anything, they should know Nur-D. So I
It's
mean,
only
for
a matter
real.
of time.
For real.
It's only a matter of time. And from what I was told by my WWE liaison, that they were very happy with the arrangement. So the chances are this will be an ongoing thing. So yeah, it is very, very cool. Hopefully next time me and R-Truth will come out in the ring together.
Oh, that would be so awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you, it's Tuesday night. This is a 2 count. Nur-D is going to go through the entire show after our open.
Welcome to the show. Let's see what has been happening in the wrestling world. Welcome to the show, where comedy meets wrestling by fan for fan. The 2 count, always the best guests in Midwest. The 2 count, wait time guaranteed because we're of the best. Meet Reese and JR. Top Shelf Tommy, we're about to start. Welcome to the 2 Count. It's time to dig deep into the wrestling world. Welcome to the 2 Count, where comedy meets wrestling by fans for fans. The 2 Count.
The 2 Count. The 2 Count. Where comedy meets wrestling. Please comment, share, like, and start a hype train for God's sakes. And now, here are the hosts of the 2 Count. Comedian John Russell, wrestling broadcaster Big Ace, and everybody's favorite heel, Top Shelf Tommy.
Yes, indeed, it is Tuesday. And I got to ask you now, Nur-D, you were a fantastic musician. I have to ask you before we get any further.
Yes, hit me.
Do you feel like $3,500 for that jingle was enough money? I feel like I got my money's worth.
That is a very good question.
That's also like, I don't want to answer.
That's him being like, you should have gave me that money, and it would have been.
At the time.
Okay. This is what I'll say. Right. This is what I'll say. It's clear they hit all the things you wanted them to say. You know what I mean? They got your names in there, the catchphrases in there. Yeah, and it's rocking. It's rocking.
A couple of guys from Brazil. I don't know if you listen close, you can kind of hear their accent a little.
Oh yeah. Okay, so there is a YouTuber who does these little, I don't know what the videos are called, but they're like, he scam artists on email chains.
Okay.
And he had a music video made, and I swear it's the same guy.
Oh, that would be amazing.
I'll have to send you a clip. Because the voice is very similar to me, and I'm just yo, is this the same dude? But whoever you are, whoever made the theme song, way to go! Keep getting that money. Don't you worry about what I have to say. Don't worry about it, because you know what doesn't lie. $3,500 in the bank.
Well, and you know the crazy thing is like every time I see a 2 Count logo, which I'm around them a lot because I got a lot of patches around here, I think the song every time. So there's something to it, which maybe that makes me a mark for the show that I'm on. But I mean, I'm over.
You know what? I'm into it.
Heck
Welcome
yeah,
to
man.
the show.
It's not bad. It's not bad though, right? It's catchy.
You know what? You know what? Maybe I'm gonna learn to. Maybe I'm gonna learn to like it. Maybe it ends up being Fandango. You know what I mean? Like at first you're like, "What is this?" And then all of a sudden you're like, maybe that's me.
Heck
I
yeah,
hear
man,
it, and
we'll
I
take it.
totally like it's 100% radio jingo.
Oh yeah, gigantic.
But what I will say, what do you guys think about the state of wrestling music currently, though? Speaking of that, like entrance songs and these, like, where do you think that's at? Because I have thoughts, but I'd love to hear what the team thinks.
I will start off because I mentioned it to Ace last night when we were up in section C4, way at the top, which is fine. Yeah,
We got a great view looking down at your head.
Oh, we saw you.
It was
Oh, we
awesome.
saw you. But
Which, by the way, and I'm sure you were going to say something, but we got to hear the music wonderfully because it was so flippin' loud on the club level.
It's the loudest thing.
Oh my god!
So anyhow, back to your question, which is always nice to get questions from the guest too. That's awesome. I said it literally about Damage Control's theme song. It's almost insufferable. And when you had to hear it 3 times a night because Dakota Kai is wrestling, Bayley comes out for the contract signing, and then Io Sky is on the main event. Honestly, it killed me because I don't know if there's a lot of good theme songs in WWE because they want to make a lot of in-house, right? And I mean, it's not bad, but it's it doesn't hit me like the old stuff, you know.
There's something to be said about that. JR, Big Ace, music.
So go ahead, Ace.
Bring back Jim Johnston. That's not 100% wrong, Zach. You know, you mentioned it. I tried to think like what songs currently are from the world of wrestling that like when it hits, you're like, oh, I know it. I mean, everybody knows Shawn Michaels and Heartbreak Kid. The Rock hits, Austin hits. I mean, you know, Triple H using Motorhead, like all these things. These were like iconic. Even DX's was like it. I mean, it wasn't Rage, but it might as well have just been Rage Against the Machine. I mean, that's what they were. And I mean, it was just iconic music. And you think now, and it's kind of like, who are those guys? Like Chris Jericho has his own song, Fozzy, which is just a great song.
I mean, he hasn't been using it since he's doing the Lionheart gimmick recently.
Right. And then, yeah, like on the WWE side, it's like I was thinking that last night. I was like, gosh, man, I miss Riddle's old song already. Like it just hit harder than whatever he was walking out to last night.
So here's the thing for me. I mean, in ones that you mention, Ace, because of injuries, I think the Adam Cole theme is absolutely iconic in terms of you hear it, you know, this is they nailed that one.
Mm-hmm.
I also think the retooling of Bryan Danielson's as well. But here's the thing. It's like, you know, Adam Cole's been hurt, and so you don't get to hear it. And Bryan Danielson, when he comes out, isn't necessarily always – I mean, he's coming out a lot of times without music now because he's coming in after a match or with his – so the other thing, too, is, and I don't know if anybody else notices this. Let me start this by saying that I used to sell jingles between radio gigs, okay? And one of the things that I noticed and was told and it's a selling point is because we had various composers to do the jingles. Mm-hmm. The reason is because everybody has a sound. Everybody has a kind of a style, right? And so, for example, if you that sounds like the Eagles. That sounds like Rage. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And so I still think they only have one person doing AEW. I think they only have one person doing WWE. And to me, some of these things are starting to sound like a little bit the same.
Thank
to a
you.
degree.
Thank you for saying that. I would agree.
The women.
Yep. Like you couldn't name again. Like I'm not. I try not to because I'm as a musician, you know, and I think honestly, more than anything else, I'm being honest. More than a moveset, your entrance is what gets you over. Mm-hmm. Period. Because a lot of people, a lot of marks in the stands, a lot of casual people do not understand an amazing like 5-star Dave Meltzer match from just like a slap and meat. You know, they don't understand. they don't know the difference. They just know what gets them hype. Right. Mm-hmm. And so like that's why Judas gets over so great. That's why even though Seth Rollins' music is pretty generic, and I think it's a testament to Rollins, when he heard a couple of people doing he was like, yeah, get that over. Like, let's do that. Because the song itself is not interesting. Like the burn it down doesn't even fit anymore. You know what I mean? Like it cuts in randomly. It's not on time with anything that he's doing. It's very strange. Bobby Lashley last night on Raw, again, Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns' music, if you switch them, you wouldn't even notice. Like, that's just the reality of the situation. You wouldn't even notice. But you could see Bobby Lashley trying to get double pump, one fist over at his like he's trying to make something with it. I honestly think the people who have the best entrance music right now in wrestling across all of the boards, I think, and not all of these are ones I like. I just think they're good. I think Johnny Gargano Even though I don't even like Rebel Heart, I don't think it's a good song. It sounds different than anybody else who comes out.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So when it hits,
distinct.
you're like, that's Johnny Gargano. I know who's coming out. It's going to be pretty good. I wish his entrance was a little bit more, but like that's one. Jungle Boy.
Yeah.
I with Jungle Boy's music hit, you're like, it's something, that people can all like do a thing to. And then the Street Profits really like once you hear that bump, 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 but the Street Profits are about to come out. There's a rap coming out, and they're doing the bit. Other than that, though, I'm pretty sure Damage Control is just Bailey's old music with somebody saying Damage Control and then random stuff in between.
Yeah, because the lyrics on it are, I mean, I'm not a lyricist. I mean, anybody can go watch Jesse Tyler's episode where we were on it, and I tried to freestyle, and it was fucking awful.
I gotta find that.
Oh, for real? Yeah. I mean, Jesse just made a comment too. He just subscribed for the 11th month, so thank you, Jesse, for that. But literally, it was terrible. I got tongue tied, and I got into a reciprocating "I'm an idiot" in my head, and then and even I had critiques of Damage Control because the lyrics between saying Damage Control make zero fucking
weird.
sense.
Which is always weird. Could you imagine like Street Profits?
Oh,
Roman Reigns. Like,
you can't say that way. I mean, I guess like that's the thing. Like we talked about DX and stuff, right? And like in the arena last night, they were doing the show us your DX pose, which I'm like, there's a lot of kids doing crash shouts, man. Like that's uncomfortable as shit. But like that, it still like rings out where even when they just yell out "Degeneration," like it's still one of those things where you're like, all right, man, like this gets me fucking going. R-Truth is correct.
You're right. Correct. I did not mention R-Truth. R-Truth doing the "What's Up" entrance is still probably one of the best because it's different every night. He can say something whenever he wants to. The Acclaimed, though, that should say, you know what? Even though you don't know the Acclaimed song because they're usually just rap doing something over it, the way they take over their entrance is also amazing.
Well, and I'll say this one too. Like for me, Young Bucks though too, and it's only because they come out too all of a sudden and just go super kick party, and then like they come out and it's the boom with the dollar bills or whatever. Like it's a whole theatrical thing.
Well, that's the thing that's missing from a lot of music for some of the people now is there's nothing that sets it off right at the beginning. I was thinking that when Bliss came out because I'm a huge Bliss mark.
Yeah,
and I miss that. She used to have like that 3 beat. Like, what was the giggle? And then there was those it was like a weird beat right at the beginning, and you just knew that was her song. Or Kevin Owens has that, right before. Yeah. Like everybody, like those guys, those are those songs that where it's like it hits right away, So it's where some of this stuff it just hits, and you're like, what is?
You're not quite, and that's why so many run-ins are happening without music. Because it's like, who cares? Like, I don't know what your song is. Like, again, Judgment Day, Roman Reigns, Bobby Lashley, put them all in a hat. You can pick any one out of them. It's the same thing.
Well, let's talk about ones that have been tossed by the wayside that absolutely shouldn't have been. Finn Balor had one of the ultimate entrance songs, and it's gone forever.
Yeah.
It should have just been. Why didn't the judge just let the Judgment Day use it?
Yeah,
it's great. And we could have done a whole the Judgment Day are here. Like when Roman Reigns took the Shield music as his own music, like that was fine. Seth Rollins got the Burn It Down, the original Burn It Down. Great. Dean Ambrose got his like the weird long guitar running. So everyone.
But they almost made that. They almost like kind of stole that with Baron Corbin's motorcycle rev because it's almost like the same frequency. It's the same long drawn out. I'm like, this fucking sucks. Now if you're not hearing it directly, right? Like if I'm in the kitchen making a sandwich between matches or whatever, and they come in, they're coming back, and all of a sudden, is that Dean Ambrose? Was that Baron Corbin? Because if it's Baron Corbin at the time, I would be like, I don't fucking need to see it.
I'll put another layer on my sandwich.
Yeah. I'm just going to keep hanging out. Shinsuke Nakamura had the you know what I mean? Like there's something to what Ace was saying. A good entrance music should be if like and to what my boy Tommy's saying, if you're in another room and you have the show playing in the background, you should know when business is just picked up because someone came in. To borrow a wrestling phrase, you should know by hearing it alone who is decided to come out to the ring and what you should expect. I remember, I'll never forget, we're doing the Royal Rumble. It's the one time of the year I get all my friends together and I force them to watch wrestling, even if they don't like wrestling. Because it's like, I can tell you who all these people are all at once and I don't have to keep bringing you to my house every Monday. I'm in the kitchen. Something's happening. I'm talking to my friend. All of a sudden I hear, stand back. And I knew immediately it was the hurricane. I ran out. What I mean? Because if you have an entrance, even that music, the music of it is, stay in the back. There's a hurricane coming through. But you knew who it was immediately. Shawn Michaels, the screaming women. I would say Dolph Ziggler had a good couple of entrance musics. I liked the Perfection. Mm-hmm. I liked that one. I am perfection, because it should tell you who your character is by the song. So if no one's ever seen you before, Stan Lee used to say, every comic is somebody's first comic. So I should be able to know and tell what you're going to do, what you're going to say, how you're going to behave, which is one of the reasons I don't particularly like Johnny Gargano's song. But by the thing. Yeah. And also, Candice LeRae's song is also bad.
It is. For what she was doing last night, too.
Which says a lot, because it's better than the song she had before.
Yeah.
I thought. So
yeah, they're not really, with the exception of Bianca Belair, because it's got the, granted, I don't know, and maybe this is just me. I personally, as a man of the Melanin Mafia, I am not super excited about hearing a whip crack every time a black woman comes out on stage. That's just me. She's clearly fine with it, so I'm not gonna push it. But
did it happen last night though?
Yeah, it didn't. It did. It was and I get it. It's the hair. She has a long hair and she uses it like a whip. So
my God,
makes sense. But in my head, when I first was seeing it, to me it felt like Vince McMahon was like, "Get out there and make me some money." That's how it felt.
He's just yelling at Toby. I don't know.
And she comes out, bah, 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 and I'm just like, ooh, I don't like that. Dude, she clearly does. Don't go and hate on Bianca Belair. She clearly enjoys it. I'm just saying that the whip crack is a lot.
Dude, I can't believe I never even thought of that. Holy shit. I'm kind of pissed at myself for not even fucking making that. God damn it, dude.
Man. It was weird, man. I don't know. I feel it. Because you don't hear, know what I mean? If you heard a whip crack and then Bobby Lashley walking out, you'd be like, wait, why is this happening? Right.
Well,
but anyway, we'll talk about the Raw itself. But I will say that the music is lacking, and professional wrestling needs to have a musical renaissance,
right,
soon, or else everyone's just gonna sound generic. I don't want it to be like the UFC, where the song doesn't matter. Yeah, really. You know what I mean? Your entrance, Undertaker, Finn Balor, these people used to use their entrances as a part of their arsenal. It was the thing that would make you win. Kane, even Kurt Angle's Kane,
and then a boom.
Well, and I'll bring in some WCW ones that I remember too. Even Goldberg's, where it's that big.
Yeah,
and that's even Goldust back in the day too was kind of the same thing, right? It was a crescendo, and then
one of my all-time favorites, the Four Horsemen, just because you hear the stampede and all of a sudden the guitar that
Macho Man Randy Savage, Pomp and Circumstance, you know what I mean? I think. You know what I'm going to say? This is going to be a very controversial opinion.
Okay.
Rob Conway used to have that. Look at me. Just look at me. Ain't I excited to see? And I remember thinking to myself every time
Randy Newman kind of
it was
bullshit.
but it was you could tell who this character was. It was so different. I wouldn't suggest a lot of people using that. It's a very like you have to have a particular character to make that work.
Right.
But it was the same when Damian Sandow came out to oh Lord God omnipotent reign, hallelujah, hallelujah. Like it takes a particular type of character to get that over.
Yeah.
But he did.
Well, and I think a lot of times, again, it's the intro, right? So, like, DDPs with the self high five, like, you just knew, boom, like, this dude is my guy. Stone Cold Steve Austin with the glass breaking. The Rock with, if you smell, I mean, again, it's part of the catchphrase, it's part of the thing.
What a rush.
Yes.
Yes, for sure.
And even
and Dan's right with Taz, too, like the fucking beat line, right?
Yeah.
Beep, beep.
Well, and even with Hogan to have one of the first songs that like everyone knew.
Yeah.
Just because of that. As soon as that first guitar riff hit, I mean,
there was some really. I am one of Randy Orton has a pretty good entrance music. Well, I will say I'm still partial to his old one. I get the voices in my head has gotten over, and it is what it is. But I always liked the Legend Killer one.
Is that the hey?
Hey, nothing you can say.
It's a
change what you done to and he's just like. I would take that. I would take that if I could steal it. I would take that one. That's dope.
Edge has always been a great one too.
Edge has had some.
Rowdy's right here. Booker T's too.
Booker, yes. See again
with the intro.
When we look at who's the entrance music that we like, and even like we look at it and we're naming off all these people, and you see there's a timeline, like when there's like so many
late 90s to the 2000s
because wrestling used to be rock and roll. I'm not and I'm not even trying to it used to be rock and roll. That's what they were trying to emulate. They were trying to emulate rock and roll, and therein they created characters that basically, even when CM Punk came out with Cult of Personality, it was a song that you've already known, but he was the first one to really kind of do something like that. And so then it was like, in WWE anyway, it was like, oh wow, that's really interesting. That's really new. R-Truth again rapping his own thing when he walked out, like that was really interesting. That was really new. Even when R-Truth was like, no music. He's like, the truth will say. He's like, I'm not even doing that anymore. He just like walked out to the ring.
Shall set you free.
Great.
By the way, if you ever do end up running into him and speaking to him, ask him why in the hell he blocked me, because I'm blocked and I don't even know why.
You're still pretty sore over that.
I will do that. Ron Killings is a really interesting dude. His career is one that has fascinated me, and I don't know what I will. Speaking of R-Truth and the match we had for main event that we got to watch on Monday, I am gonna say this, and I feel like everyone needs to hear it. I want Shelton Mania. All right, we had Kofi Mania. I think it's time. I think it's far past time for us to have Shelton Mania. I think that this man was doing things that is the industry standard now, then.
Yep.
And he did not get the credit for it, mostly because he was black. I'm going to say that, and then also because he's not like the best mic, and that's fine. Not everybody needs to be great on the mic. You know what I mean? It's not required, but like he is fantastic. He can still go. His physique is crazy, and like he should give him. Have him beat Bobby Lashley for the United States title. Like, if you're not going to put the main belt on him, which they won't do, like, give him the United States Championship. Give us one more gold standard run. The guy deserves it.
Did he hold anything when they did the whole his mama gimmick?
Yeah, Intercontinental Champion.
Was it the IC? Yeah, okay.
And yeah.
That was not a good. That was not a great run. Let's be real honest, because. Anytime you put your mama in there, like, and Buff Bagwell will attest to this too. Anytime you talk about your mama on there, it ain't gonna be good. Never.
I will say that I loved it as someone with a aggressive black mother. Watching that as a kid, I remember being like, I feel like I shouldn't be watching this. I feel like I'm sitting here going like, how is he not world champion? I guarantee you that if there was a real black angry mom in a moo in real life in the back, Shelton Benjamin would have been world champion. There was nothing anyone was going to be able to say about it. She was one of the only people who I think stood up to Vince McMahon in storyline and never had any repercussions for doing so.
Never had a disaster or anything.
Yeah, she just was in charge.
All right, yep, Jew.
Yeah. So main event was great. Ron Killings, R-Truth. I'll get a hold of him. I'll find that out for you, JR.
Thank you.
And also he can still go. It's wild to see him.
And that's he's up there in age. People don't realize that about him.
He's doing the jump splits. He's like doing it. He's
50 plus. I don't know how high in the 50s, but he's 50 plus for sure.
And it's great. And he's still going. He's doing the corkscrew kicks. He's doing all this stuff. And he's like a comedy bit character. Put Shelton with LA Knight stable. All right. I don't know if LA Knight should get another stable. I think he could probably just give him some time to rock on his own.
Or can we just call him Eli Drake? Because fuck this LA Knight bullshit. Every time I see LA Knight, I think of the 80s with LA gear and British Knight. That's all I think of as I think of whack ass tennis shoes, man, from the 80s that they gave away like during kids shows, man.
JR, who?
Yeah, he definitely will. Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's like, you block me, you don't even know me, dude.
You don't even know who I am. Yeah, I think that Shelton and R-Truth respectively. I mean, like, yeah, he was the 24/7 champion. He was that title. Honestly, I think once they took it off him, like for more than a week, I stopped caring instantly. And I mean, like, and so did. And granted, Dana. Whoever is Dana Brooke today, you did amazing. Like I don't mind her being the champ, but it doesn't seem to matter. Like it doesn't seem like anybody cares.
Nope.
I think that what should happen, put that belt on someone who you're trying to push to the moon and never have them lose it.
Yeah, especially like on snake scenarios, man.
Here's the thing
always
about
ready,
that
right?
24/7 belt, though. Initially, when they brought this iteration of it out and had Foley introduce it, everybody thought, "Oh, dude, this is going to be hardcore. This is going to be great," and it wasn't. And Truth did such a fantastic job of keeping the damn thing relevant.
Yeah,
that.
And then Bad Bunny too.
Yeah, so much credit to him. But and now it's.
I'm not saying it shouldn't be. I'm not saying it should be a hardcore title. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that it could be, and I think that WWE could maybe use something like that. I'm not trying to, because while it doesn't need to compete with AEW as far as like realness is concerned, because WWE is kayfabe to the max, AEW doesn't really do that. That being said, I think it could give WWE an edge that it doesn't kind of have right now. WWE is very bubble letter. There's no sharp corners. You know what I mean? The sharpest corners they have is every now and then Seth Rollins will be like, "Hey, Matt Riddle, like, you're divorced and your kids don't like you." And then you're like, "Holy shit, like that's crazy." But outside of that, like there's not a whole lot of edge. So have like Dana Brooke wins, Dana Brooke's the title, whatever. You have someone like R-Truth take it back from her. And he's like, "I did it again." And then have Shelton Benjamin absolutely beat the hell out of them, and not like a little bit, like make it really like people are like, "Hey, we should really like hush tones, like we should probably get like someone back there, like." And then Shelton Benjamin, and the title's all cracked, and he's broken it, and then he's just like, "I will never let this go." And then for a year or more, have Shelton Benjamin just with kendo sticks, baseball bat. I know that's not really his bit, but it could be anybody else. It doesn't have to be Shelton Benjamin. It could be Kevin Owens. It doesn't have to be. It could be anybody. But then have them just beat the holy hell out of people. And every other week, that title is getting more and more broken. It's getting more and more like the pieces are falling off, and he's like stapling it on, and it's just like, and everyone's like, holy, like this guy, like this is getting like little, like really crazy, because now you've built like a Sammy Calloway. Am I saying that? I'm saying that that's the right guy? Callahan. Sammy Callahan. You can build a new hardcore icon with that belt. It doesn't have to be that. If you want to make it a comedy belt, it works as a comedy belt. R-Truth has proven that. But like, here's an opportunity to not just like let it fall to the wayside and put it on main event and never have any. We weren't even told that if that match that Dana Brooke was in was even for the 24/7 championship.
Well, and apparently everybody that was on main event last night, Fallon Henley and JB BJ, again, whatever their names mean,
whoever they
are call-ups, and apparently this was their main roster debut. They might still be hanging around NXT for the next X amount of months or whatever, but like this was their first dib into the main roster.
It was a weird amount of country vibes for a Midwest show. I will say that, like, why did you put all these like good old boys and cowgirl on our thing? That's like not what we're. I think Brock Lesnar has y'all twisted. Like that's not what really we are up here.
No. Well, and that's the thing. Like that Fallon gal, she's apparently from Michigan. I didn't catch where the dude or the tag team was from, but Hurricane Buzzy. Yeah, this is Tommy Chilstrom. I don't know why you need to ask that. It's literally fucking right there underneath my fucking photo or my screen here. What the fuck?
Hurricane is out here. Stand back. All right.
I would love to see Tom Chilstrom do a frog splash off the top rope.
Yeah. Dude, I can't. I don't want to even get up that fucking high. Are you kidding me, man? Coming down from that fucking level? No way.
So, okay. Let's talk about the Raw itself. Let's talk about. We're talking so much. Let's get into it. I
like how you're keeping us on track here. That's perfect.
That's my bad. I ramble.
You're our fourth host. We all know it.
I come through every now and then.
I don't remember who I was talking to in town. Shout out to Valerie down here in Rochester, who you did her podcast recently, and she's a radio friend of ours, or at least mine. I don't know if you ever got the chance to work with her, JR, but she's a cool person. And she had said something about you, and I was like, yeah, he's awesome. He's like every other month guest now on my podcast. Like he's a regular.
I love coming through. It's fun. I love being here. I don't get to talk wrestling with people who actually know what I'm talking about. So like it's fun to have conversations with people who get it.
And I love nothing more than being at your shows with people who know nothing about wrestling but do all the wrestling.
Yeah, all do the moves
tied in there.
I'm getting them to do it because it's
it's so great.
You guys will like it if I showed it to you,
right? Right.
Well, to be real honest with you too, and not to like. We'll get to Raw in a second. Going out to smoke out on Sunday, seeing y'all do your thing with the Friendly Neighborhood Spider Band and DJ Hayes and yourself, man. Like it was awesome. And then of course every time you sing Tyler Breeze, and people have no clue who Tyler Breeze is, and you're just like
a travesty of justice.
Oh, believe me, man. Like I laugh inside and outside every time you get to that song or when you're singing it, and I just see how joyous you are, and everybody else is like feeling that same flow and that same energy and stuff. And then when you get to the Tyler Breeze line, and people are just kind of like, "Yeah, I love Tyler Breeze." Like it's like y'all gotta know, man. Please, fuck. Get it,
it's the chorus, and it's the chorus. So I love when people who don't know what that means are singing it because it's the chorus, and
I know, man.
They have no idea what they're talking about.
and
it's just like,
I do appreciate you clarifying to all of us upper Midwesterners that you ain't finna stop me, not you ain't gonna stop me. No, you ain't finna stop me. And I'm like, I knew I was hearing it that way, but everybody around was saying gonna, and I'm so white in that regard. I don't want to say anything that you all are wrong, but I think it's finna.
Oh snap! People are
man.
People are coming at my boy Tom. I don't think you realize that Tom and myself are on the same team.
They don't get it. They
don't
they
get
think
it.
when you're on, it's just like 3-on-1. They don't
Yeah,
understand.
they don't understand.
Which, by the way, you made like it was Make-A-Wish almost moment for Tom at the Mall of
You suck.
America. When you gave the top shelf shout out on the mic in the ring.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I had to.
Dude, we
I
covered
mean,
it on.
He was. I think there was a tear in his eye when you said it. Like I've never seen Tom so ecstatic.
I'm not gonna lie. I marked out, and I literally was like looking around for anybody to understand where the top shelf reference came from.
Not his.
And I didn't even get love from these two assholes. Like literally, they're just like, "Fuck you, man." And then like Ace's nephews are there too. They don't fucking have any goddamn clue what's happening. People around us don't know who the fuck I am. I'm just like, you know what? I will beat the living shit out of everybody on this fucking floor right now. Good lord, man. Know some fucking top shelf shit. Nur-D is the man. All right, I'll say it till the day I fucking die, man. You and Hayes that night were fucking killing it, man.
That was an incredible. I will. The running joke of this episode is that we will never talk about Raw. But what I will say, that's the running joke. You think it's gonna happen, it won't happen. What I will say is that the First Wrestling. Shout out to First Wrestling, by the way, and their amazing show at the Mall of America. They really put, Eric can't seriously. Every single person there really put it on. They did amazing. They're always very wonderful to work with. That was an incredible night, especially for me because I did WrestlePalooza and it was really cool. And being at First Avenue is always a treat. But I think there was something about the historicness of 37 years. Like, and we're doing like the last time was like Lex Luger. You know what I mean? Like that was the last time this was like around. And then all of a sudden it's just, here I am, start like, boom, center of the ring, the Mall of America rotunda, like bodies all cascading all the way up to the ceiling, the skylight, and we're doing wrestling songs with people who know what I'm talking about. And I think it was just like, these are my people. I got to do the acclaimed. This guy, I was laughing at my friend because one of my friends saw the video, and he was like, "What are you doing with that person?" And I said, "Here's the thing.
Yeah,
that's
dude.
That's a very wrestling thing that we did together." And that young man had a choice to make. He said, "I'm going to shout out Scissor Me, Nur-D." Yep. And if he doesn't watch AEW, I just yelled at a grown man to scissor me, and he's not going to know what that means.
I believe that was Lupe, one of the FWF, the First Wrestling family members, and he was at the Bauhaus show. He got a huge Bandito just absolutely loved him. He had the Mexican flag with him and stuff like that too. But that dude has been crazy. He's been everywhere. Like literally, now that I know who he is, man, I've seen him everywhere around the cities for everything from First to Higher Ground to Battleground to wherever, man. Like that dude is everywhere.
It's a legend. Yeah. And so we got to do it. We did the thing. It was amazing. Like I said, I don't get to do a lot of these things with people because at my regular show, there's a lot of casuals and they don't watch wrestling at all or they only watch a little bit of it. And so to be able to do it with a packed mall full of people who know and get it, and then the amazing matches we got to see. Premium stuff, top shelf stuff. If I do say so myself.
It's a good night.
It's true. By the way, did you see the poster that I made?
I didn't. There was a poster.
Oh
yeah. Oh, it wasn't for you. It was for him.
No, it was for the joke, and several other people had them up there and stuff too. But I don't know if you can read all that. But
Pastamania, bring it back, people.
What if Pastamania survived, man? It's my favorite question that I've ever asked, and literally, it's to no one in particular. But you know how that would change the wrestling industry if Hulk Hogan would be able to get out at 98 like he fucking should have, and then never ruin TNA either. Oh God, where would we be now?
Dude, he could have had that George Foreman money, but he chose against it.
He could have.
Could you imagine if he had that fucking Hulk Hogan grill money? Jesus.
Could you imagine if he would actually have the Hulk Hogan grill in their house? Like,
See, here's the thing.
would
I
that have
wouldn't.
sold more
It
than?
would be really upsetting because eventually, then you would have to throw out your Hulk Hogan pasta maker when you find out that it doesn't like dark wheat.
Oh wait, this is ethnic food? No.
Ugh, I don't really like you mixing your dark wheats with my white Alfredo sauce. Oh my god. That's fine.
Let me tell
How
you
dare you use
brother.
the dark part of the chicken?
Yeah,
We
like
use-
the
we're a
only
white meat family
white
only.
meat grill
Oh
only.
no.
It'll just not work. You try to put dark meat on it.
We throw that half of the turkey
Oh,
out on
no.
Thanksgiving. You know what we do here, brother.
Oh no, that man! I'm like, man, fumbling the bag has never had such a a perfect personification. All you had to do was be racist in your head and never let it get out.
Yeah.
That's all you had to do. You could
Yeah.
have died. You could have died, and no one would have known. And you just never said anything.
Dude, he's
Oh no.
that guy.
That's a tip to all of you. I know we don't have any racists that watch the show, but on the off chance that you snuck in here to do some sort of terrorist attack, I usually don't give free advice to racists, but this is what I'm going to tell you. Don't say it out loud. Never say it out loud. Don't do it. Don't say it aloud to anybody. Because you're gonna lose it. If they can get Hulk Hogan, they can get you. All right.
Oh no.
All right, so
I never give free advice to
I
racists.
don't usually give free advice.
Typically, I charge for that shit.
Hey man, I'm just saying.
he's an entrepreneur, man. Come
I'm
on,
an entrepreneur.
Dirty knows.
This is in America. If you think you can walk around and never take money from a racist, you're fooling yourself.
Dude, oh man, you are not wrong.
my God.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right.
Raw. Let's
Raw.
talk about Raw.
Raw last night.
That whole show that we were at. Oh no. Okay. All right. So yeah, hit us, Big Ace. Hit us with
All right, yeah. So we had Monday Night Raw at the XL Energy Center last night. So we basically covered main event, right? We
did. Yeah, we talked
about
about
over that. All
Yeah.
right. So I'm actually trying to remember what did kick off Raw because my head's.
I'm pretty sure it was Judgment Day.
It was.
Yeah, Judgment Day versus AJ Styles and Rey Mysterio.
I'm pretty sure it was Judgment Day. And again, lame entrance music. However, and I know
And it
she
took
watches
forever.
the show because everyone watches 2 Count. Rhea Ripley looked directly in my eyes, and I thought my soul would cave out the side of my back. That woman is so fine. You think that you think she's not. I guarantee you she is. No matter how hot you think Rhea Ripley is on the television, she is that much more hot in person. It was frightening. I didn't even want to start cheering or booing. I was like, leave me alone. Don't be over here.
Right.
Yeah. See,
you're
I
a
would have
married
been
man,
in
you
your
don't need
shoes.
that temptation.
I'd have been in your shoes when
Nice
Bliss
try,
came out,
Rhea.
You know. What's
Get behind me,
everybody's-
Satan.
What's
Oh,
everybody's thought of the whole Dominic situation, though? Because I think this is the first time he's actually doing something that's of interest. Like, it beats the whole, like, I'm just Ray's son.
Okay. Just throwing it out there. If the Judgment Day was cooler, I think I'd like this run more. I think, like, if the Judgment, not that they should have been this kind of group, but if the Judgment Day was the Bullet Club, if they were DX even, if they were Evolution even, if they had a clear kind of vibe other than just purple, which I think is their gimmick, is purple. And it works
It's
for
black
Prince,
purple.
but none of these people are Prince. So it's just like, it's purple. Their gimmick is purple and spikes, and it's kind of just kind of lame. So having Dominic show up dressed like he's about to be an assistant manager at Applebee's does not really do it for me personally.
I think they need to let Rhea take full control of that group because it also seems like they're trying to play the we're all equals here guy, and it's like, no, every faction has a leader, and let's be honest, Rhea should be your guys' leader.
Rhea is definitely a voice.
I'd like to see them break up actually and have Rhea just be Dom's
manager 100%. That would be great. I think that Dominic needs to wrestle sooner rather than later, or else it's not going to be good. I think having Dominic just like, because I was right there. I was right there when Rey and Dominic, like literally, I was right looking at the camera with them, and the whole like hit me, dad, hit me. It was good the first time. It's got really sharp diminishing returns because we know he's not gonna. And it's on a Monday Night Raw. He's not gonna that's not gonna break today. And Rey is a good guy, sort of, which will lead me. The match itself was good. I mean, everybody in it is good. Finn Balor can't have a bad match. I have yet to see a bad Rey Mysterio match. I think Damian Priest was the weak link of this particular match. AJ Styles is always pretty good. All in all, maybe like a 6 out of 10. It did what it needed to do.
Right.
So not too much in the match was all that interesting. Rhea Ripley, I think WWE needs to figure out whether you can hit a woman. I think WWE needs to figure out whether you can hit a woman in their narrative. Not saying that you should hit anyone, but I'm saying that, kids, like, use your words.
Yeah.
But, like, in the narrative of WWE, can a male superstar hit a woman? And still be a good guy. Because if the answer is yes, then someone needs to pop Rhea Ripley in a mouth. if the answer is no, then Judgment Day should win all the titles because there's nothing anyone can do.
Right. So, and you're right. You're right on bringing it up because I call it personally like the China Conundrum, right? Because when China won the IC title, or against Jarrett, and then faced Jericho and Guerrero in the ring eventually, there was no problem with it. But then you turn the narrative, right? And you say absolutely no intergender wrestling, but then you still have Nia Jax appear in the Royal Rumble a few years ago.
Yep. And everyone beat the nuts off of her.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily problematic because people who know it's scripted, but you're right, it's the kids level, right? So if WWE is trying to get on that family friendly kid level, it's hard to explain why there's a man versus a woman in a match because you don't see that in other sports, really.
I will say, thanks for bringing that up, Top Show. This is what I'm talking about. This is why my dude's a dude. Because they beat the brakes off of Nia Jax. And I can't help noticing that there is a very a particular difference between Nia Jax and Rhea Ripley on why you can't hit people. So you're saying that we can beat Nia Jax within an inch of her life? RKO.
If you have more melanin.
You could just, she's a look at her. I don't know who it was in the back, but he probably sounded like, look, she can take it. Beat her up. Like, hurt her down. Like,
you're right.
Leave them on, for God's sake.
Yeah,
good shit.
Did she sign the NDA? Put her in the ring.
Did she say something about her hole the other day? Fuck it. Send her in the ring.
Big Ace is doing too much. He said, did he sign NDA? Get out of here. You're a menace. But yeah, no, I think that we need to figure out whether you can hit Rhea Ripley.
I think the easy card they're going to pull is we see Beth Phoenix get involved on Saturday. She's been, I know, but she's been throwing shit out like she's in the gym hard and all that. But it's the
give it
easy
to
way
somebody
out.
else then. Give it to somebody else. I don't know.
Hold on. So talking to Rowdy Loudy here brings up a good point, right? So like they roll up chicks for the 24/7. It's different though, right? Because
it's comedy.
The 24/7 is kind of more, it's comedy based now, and it's the surprise element, right? So that's how Carmella won it. That's how Dana Brooks kind of won it. That's how other women have won it, or even smaller dudes have won it because of the fact that it's a surprise roll up or shenanigans, and like they tripped a dude, and then all of a sudden somebody's like right there, or like a whole group of people, and then somebody just grabs the title and runs away. Like again,
a roll up isn't violent. In fact, the roll up is the least violent way to win a match. So like I think that WWE needs to figure out if Rey Mysterio can hit Rhea Ripley in the face with a chair. If the answer is yes, then he should. You know what I mean? If the answer is yes, then he should. If the answer is no, then you either have to turn her face eventually, or you need to bring in someone who makes sense to fight her. I mean, Rey Mysterio's daughter doesn't wrestle as far as I'm aware. So like yet, but if she were to even get her to show up and just like let go of my brother, man, and like they punch her, you know what I mean? Something, because she's clotheslining dudes with impunity, and I feel like that's enough. I feel like if you put my hands are rated E for everyone. I am woke, and if you clothesline me, I'm getting up. I'm clotheslining you back. I don't care which bathroom you use. So like,
my hands are rated E for everyone. God, fucking somebody pull that shit, man. That's the line of that right there.
Where were you on Braun Strowman's last run?
Right.
So, but
I think that's a shirt. That's a shirt. That's Braun's next shirt.
Here's the thing about the women, though, right? I mean, it's clear that they've been accidentally hit, which we all know really isn't an accident.
Yeah, no.
And so it's that can it be done deliberately? Man, it just seems ridiculous to me. They should just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, just pull the ripcord on it. It's we all know it's kayfabe. We all know everybody's friends. All right. And even if the kids don't know it at this point, if you're okay with watching a young man tell his father that he hates him and that there's a whole thing, I think you can be okay to be like, that woman, that girl hit this other guy with a pipe, and that's why he got up and he kicked her in the face. So don't hit anybody with the pipe that you're not ready to fight. I would teach that to my nieces today. You know, so
that's sound advice. Don't go around hitting people with pipes.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it unless you're ready to scrap. Unless you're ready to square up. So that's that match was. But what I will say about the Rey thing, I dropped the seed earlier in the convo. They won't do it. They're not going to do it. But live, watching Rey walk away from AJ Styles after he pushed him, because he did push him, and then as AJ was getting his ass beat, watching Rey just leave him there didn't look back. That was very interesting to me. And they did have a camera on him, and because I wasn't watching from TV, I don't know if that was broadcasted. That was a very interesting little exchange, and because you would think Rey Mysterio, the baby face, the one you think of when you think of baby faces, he would have run out and stopped them from beating him up, even though he pushed him. You know
that's
what
exactly
I mean?
It. Yep. Especially considering that's his rivals right now. And
then they have his son, his son. You'd think he'd come out and like get a chance to like beat him back, and the fact that he didn't made me go, huh. So I don't know what's going to happen. I hope AJ Styles doesn't join the Judgment Day, mostly because the Judgment Day is boring.
You're not wrong.
They're boring. They do, with the exception of Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley can do no wrong, but outside of the rest of them, it is boring. And I love Finn Balor. It was hard for me not to cheer for Balor because he's one of my favorite wrestlers. But the group is just dull. It's they don't have anything other than we're the people that took Rey Mysterio. Is the main point of that? Is that we hurt Rey Mysterio's son, and then in so doing, hurt Eddie Guerrero. Somehow, Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero are the most important narrative plot points of the Judgment Day's entire existence.
Which is
even
hilarious.
Edge feels like an afterthought.
That's hilarious because Tommy last night even said, he's like, why do we still have to chant Eddie when Rey's out there? And I was like, because it's just never stopped since he died. That's literally the truth. It's never stopped.
And he died in Minnesota.
Yeah, so we were.
So it was a big. There's a lot of people who still have that emotional connection to.
Well, exactly. So we were all at Full Gear, and that was on November 13th, which was the day or the anniversary of Eddie Guerrero. And when Vicky Guerrero is at ringside with Nyla Rose, and there's a lot of Eddie chants. I mean, that was pretty hard for me to take up in the stands and stuff like that. So I can't believe Vicky held it together and stuff like that. But like, I understand that level, but it's been so long, and I can't speak for Rey, but you got to figure that at a certain point, you have to move on from these Eddie chants with Rey because it can't help his psyche anymore, right?
Yeah. I think he might like it. I think because that means he's never has to stop wrestling with his friend. I think there might be something. They still do the Three Amigos. They still do the shoulder shimmy. You know what I mean? It makes, if they didn't want us to do that, I mean, I don't think that we should, in fairness.
That's fair.
If they didn't want us to keep thinking about Eddie Guerrero when Rey Mysterio came out, they should stop doing that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that's what, again, oof, and we'll talk about him another time. But when Logan Paul, and because like I said, Finn Balor didn't even do it as well. When Logan Paul at WrestleMania did the Three Amigos into like the shoulder shimmy, I was like, give this kid a contract. Like, I was just like, I don't even care. I hate that kid. But boy, howdy, was that the best heel thing to do. And I didn't think they had the stones, in honesty, to do it. And he pulled it off. This timing was perfect. He waited and then kicked his legs around. And then we just were booing. I could feel the boos from the arena. It states away. So, like, I think that they know that Eddie Guerrero will never be something that you can separate from Rey, because they worked so hard to like make them like the most thing. It's like you can't separate HBK from Triple H at this point. Like whenever one of them dies, they're gonna do the things together forever. You know what I mean? So, but to your point, it's like Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio are the plot points for Judgment Day. And Judgment Day should be the plot point for Judgment Day. We should have them and their togetherness, their group. Because what if they won? Anytime you turn a character heel, it should be for a reason. You know, it should be for a reason. I love the fans. They've given me all this energy. However, me being evil gives me this, right? Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest, Edge gave them relevance. Because after Bad Bunny left, no one cared what Damian Priest was freaking doing. So, like, he gave them relevance, right? They turn on him and they get Finn Balor, who gave them some sort of badassery, right? They haven't gone after a single title. They haven't gone after anything of prestige. Literally, what they've won is Dominic Mysterio. And he doesn't even wrestle. He doesn't even have his own finishing move. So it's just like,
that's true.
What have you won? What have you gained from being purple and spiky, other than Rhea Ripley looking fine as hell every week? And that's fine for me, the audience. But like, what is it doing for the team? So ultimately, the match was like a 6 out of 10. I hope AJ Styles doesn't join. Please wrap this up or make them interesting, because I'm done.
Right.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, what was after that? Was it the Lashley Mustafa, or was it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, they did the backstage, and then they brought that out as the match.
What was the backstage segment at that point? Do you remember?
I think that was no, that wasn't Miz. That wasn't yet for Miz.
So they did Mustafa calling out Bobby Lashley during his interview.
Yeah.
And then they did Sami Zayn with the Usos
Yep,
bit.
which is always great.
A quick recap, apparently, of Seth Rollins.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did the Bobby Lashley match, apparently.
Yes.
Robert Lashley.
I will say this. I could tell what they were trying to do. They were trying to be like Rudy. I could tell. But me and Minnesota gave 2 shits about Ali that night. All we could care about was Bobby Lashley. I've never seen Bobby so over. Like, he was just, everyone was like, keep beating him up, Lashley. Keep beating him up. One more time. We were screaming it. Like, we had respect for Ali for keep getting up. But, like, you know what I mean? It never swelled into, like, yeah, we're on Ali's side. It was just like, keep kicking his ass, Lashley.
Yeah. No, it definitely came through a lot. And I couldn't quite hear, and I even told Ace this, like, I couldn't hear if it was Bobby or Ali, because there's a few kids around in the area. I just couldn't quite hear.
We had one guy
was
who was
clearly
really on. Was it Ali or Bobby?
It was clearly
Clearly
Bobby. But like, I mean,
Yeah.
at least from
Okay.
anybody in the front, everyone was like Bobby. I will say it was a very good showing of Ali not giving up. But it just was Bobby's like walking around doing whatever he needed to do.
Yeah,
Man's
Good old-
crazy.
good old
And-
Bob Lashley.
Also, Bobby Lashley never lost to Roman Reigns. Big E did.
Mm-hmm.
They've never fought one-on-one for that title, at least not that I remember.
So in all reality, you got that, and then you also have Kevin Owens never lost because Heyman cuffed him.
Came and cuffed him. Like, and Roman Reigns he cheated to beat Brock Lesnar to unify the titles in the first place. He did a low blow. You know what I mean? So it's like I love, again, one of the reasons why Roman Reigns' run is really great, this kind of mythos of I'm an unbeatable champion because I'm the strongest and the most powerful. When you look at it, is actually just a lot of him cheating and undercutting his way to the top, very much like Triple H. Another reason why Triple H likes this run so much is it's essentially his run.
Right. Correct.
when he had the title, when he was in Evolution.
We're gonna do exactly what I did.
But hey, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, I mean, it's working. It makes sense. I do like Roman's a little better than Triple H's, in fairness, but because it just seems more legitimate. just does. He's not married to anyone that gives him the ability to do what he's doing. So just that. I mean, his cousin's The Rock, but even that seems a little flimsy at most times. They barely mention it.
Yeah, shit never went well after that Rumble where they brought Rock out. He got booed for helping Roman. Like, Arisa said, I think Rock was like, "Hey, keep my name away from him."
He was looking over his face like, "What is happening?"
Now it was Philly though, so
Yes, it was Philly. Philly does a lot of different things. Bobby Lashley, fantastic. United States champion is great. Again, without a legitimate challenger or a feud, it's kind of just like a victory lap for the dude. I don't mind it. It's just a little like, I have a feeling that Riddle's going to beat Seth in the fight pit, and then as a reward for taking the L, Seth Rollins is going to beat Lashley for the title the following Monday night, and then be the new United States champion. And he's going to come out with a gaudy red, white, and blue outfit, and he's going to be doing a bunch of like that kind of stuff for a while.
And that's a really good call because it was pretty clear last night they're stacking next week's Raw.
Yeah,
with the DX, with the season premiere and all that.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's a
I
good
think that's
call.
probably what's going to happen, and I would like it to happen that way, so that Bobby can go after Reigns.
yeah.
Because I feel like he's not going to beat him, but I feel like Bobby needs to be able to, because he name dropped Roman Reigns in his little backstage promo about all the people he's fought and like da. I think that give Bobby one more a legitimate shot at it. I think that would be worth something.
Mhm.
So take the title off him so he can fight.
Let me bring up one pet peeve, and
Ooh,
Ace
hit me.
mentioned this. Next week is the season premiere. That means you guys were at the season finale.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I guess I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yay.
and that's. I mean, I understand what they do, but that just always. Then they do it every year, and it's very sort of irritating.
Mm-hmm.
Simply because they may stack it for the season premiere, but they don't do shit for the season finale, which they should, because in general, television shows season finales are almost as good as the
They're
premiere.
one of the most talked about things about it. I always think the season premieres for SmackDown and Raw, I think they're dumb. I think they're just something to say to get the network to be like, oh, hey, give us money because we're going to do something special. But it's just like, if you do something 24/7, like if you do a show 3 6, you have no off season.
Right.
If they had an off season, which as much as I love getting as much wrestling as I do, as someone who cares about the people, you know what I mean, that are doing the sport, I really think an off season, even a couple of months, would be appropriate. and helpful for all of them involved, especially if you're not going to give them health insurance like you should. That way, the season finale can be important. You get a 2-month break. You can get everybody up to speed. Don't get rid of the time slot. Just get everybody up to speed on what has happened last season with some rerun episodes. And then in the season premiere, you can get us started with the road to WrestleMania or whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? Because, yeah, you're right. Like, it didn't seem like it was the season finale. It just seemed like, honestly, and it was a fun show, but it just sort of seemed like a show.
Yeah. Well, and I told Tommy, even for this being the Go Home to Extreme Rules, I kind of thought we'd have some more exciting things happen as that lead in for the pay-per-view, and it just kind of didn't. I think a lot of things right now at WWE though too is you got all this stuff going on with Triple H trying to kind of redo what he's doing with Raw. We heard it tonight that they officially rebranded NXT back to like black and gold, and the whole set changed tonight. There's just there just seems to be a whole lot going on there. So I don't really know, but it
was clear. I was a little, again, it was so much fun. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good show. I'm not gonna say it wasn't a good show, but the rabbit bit, like they played. You could definitely. I was like, it's the Go Home Raw. Maybe we'll get something substantial, like a little tease, something, and it was just kind of just like the song. And I know they put some stuff on the screen for people.
Yeah,
and
QR
Corey
codes.
Graves had the QR code on the contract signing, and that was like, I could tell there was a lot of little fun stuff, and they're having a lot of fun with it. But like,
well, in the first QR code, you said Tommy was behind Bliss during that backstage shot.
yeah,
they pulled it up or whatever, and it was just like kind of fuzzy, and then like it was a quick like little blurb and stuff like that. So anybody at home apparently could probably catch that. In the arena, you couldn't.
And I believe that's the one that goes to that biblical story of Samson. Is that the name?
Yeah, Samson and Delilah. And it makes again, we know who it is. We know who it is. I would love it if it wasn't him, just to piss everybody off. Now, here's the thing: make it to Judgment Day.
Oh my God!
If you want to get some nuclear heat, if you give them some, because that's something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, we know you dumb people. We know what you want, and we've been playing you this whole time. Ha 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 ha! Like, that is something.
I mean, the arena broke into a "We Want Bray" chant last night.
They did. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say if Rhea made Dom come out in a bunny outfit, that would fit that story too.
Could you imagine, like, nuclear heat? Like it would catapult them into something that was interesting. They're not doing that. It's clearly Bray, but like, wouldn't it be something if they just had the faith in those performers to pull that off? Finn Balor started the Bullet Club, for goddamn sake. Like, give him the ball. Let him try something. Because that is something that Prince Devitt would have done.
Yeah,
so
he would have played everybody.
So I think that they're not doing that. But boy, would that be cool. So I'm excited for Bray to come back. Whatever this gimmick is going to be really interesting. I'm a little confused at how we're supposed to view Alexa in this situation, because again, are we allowed? WWE needs to figure this out. Are we allowed to hit women? Because if the answer is yes, then Bray coming back and being like, "You screwed me, Alexa," with Randy Orton, and I'm back to get my revenge. I'm gonna beat you up. Makes sense, and he can still be cheered. She'd have to like be heel again to make him pure face. But if you want to keep him as an anti-face, a tweener sort of thing, it makes sense. I never forgave you. I'm going to beat you up because of it. I'm still a person you can cheer. Or it's just like he's a he's stalking a woman.
Well,
and not
and
like in a
that's-
fun Dexter Loomis sort of like, isn't that silly type of way, but just like in a, he's using biblical references of Samson and Delilah, like murder stories.
He made reference to that same story though in the last Funhouse after Mania when she did what she did, you know, and she started bringing Lily back all of a sudden.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I thought last night when they had that stare, her do the stare down into the camera of wanting Io.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh, wait.
I kept waiting for something to happen.
Yeah.
I was
and then I kind of was like, well, maybe that's the tease is at the end of this whole thing, because obviously that main event was Bliss and Io. It's like, well, maybe at the end of this, she starts going crazy again.
She does
like
a thing. She does something. And again, I love Alexa Bliss. I think she's very talented. I think she's got so much time. That's the other thing. She's so young. She's got so much time to like do more stuff, have more angles, have more character beats. Like she could be a Jericho of the women's division given enough time. You know, she started as a cheerleader. Now she's like and then she went into Harley Quinn, and now she's just like a lady who is friends with the champion Bianca Belair for reasons.
Yeah.
But like, I think the Bray stuff was a little bit of a letdown, but it was still cool. Like I have a video of everyone singing the Rabbit song. If that is his new entrance song, also make that his new entrance song. Make that his new entrance song. Don't add the hurt heel into it if you want to like get something for people to shout. Figure out a way to remix it. But if you don't make that his new entrance song, you're missing out on something really organic with the White Rabbit stuff.
Well, and that's really one of those songs too. That's it's hard to replicate. It's hard to like change it to a way that's maybe catchier than what it is, but it's definitely one that's iconic for a lot of different reasons for a lot of different people across generations too. So most of it involves psychedelics or whatever, but whatever.
Oh, thank you, Mikey. I appreciate you saying it. That was really nice of you. Yeah, so that was that. I know that. What other matches after the Rabbit stuff?
That's when we had the confrontation between. We had the weird Miz backstage with Dexter Loomis peering in from the restroom or whatever, and then we had the face-to-face between Rollins and Riddle. At that point,
and that was like I said. Every time Seth Rollins says something about Riddle being divorced and away from his kids, I think they try to make Riddle's comebacks seem cooler than they are. And if you're 7, like your breath smells bad, like oh
yeah, you're on it.
Your wife is more popular than you are, and then Seth is supposed to be angry about that. I was like, hey Riddle, Becky Lynch is one of the most popular over and like huge wrestlers in the sport. If you're married to Michael Jordan and you tell their wife you're not as good at basketball as your spouse, it's like, duh. Like, what are you? First of all, Riddle, you have not been in the business long enough to really like talk about like accomplishments. You're talking to a multi-time like world champion. Like you're talking to someone who's like what? Like he's a Grand Slam champion. He has held literally every title in the company, and you have held 2. Wait, no. Yeah, 2.
Tag team
champion.
Tag and
Randy Orton. And then you were the
IC?
United States champion.
I thought it was I thought it was
Oh yeah,
United
sorry.
States champion. No, he never won the Intercontinental. He was the United States. You've held 2 belts. And you're telling Seth Rollins that his wife, who main evented WrestleMania, the first ever part of the first ever female match to ever do that, and is Becky Lynch, is like it seems, first of all, it seems sexist. It doesn't make you seem like a good guy. And it makes it seem like, Seth seems to have a legitimate gripe against you because you keep talking out the side of your mouth. And me and DJ Hayes, we both said it because I went to SmackDown for my bachelor party. Shout out to all my amazing groupsmen; they're fantastic. When Riddle called Roman Reigns tribal trash, I think I have never gotten over that. Because while I understand that he's trying to make a bit off of Tribal Chief, he called him tribal trash. This white man got in the middle of the ring and called a Samoan man tribal trash. And I was just like, he can't be the good guy, right? Am I insane?
No, you're not.
Yeah, I've said this for a long time too, because the way Riddle gets when he's in the middle of a match, right, and he's like losing control, he's doing acts that are of the heelish nature, of the bad guy variety, and he's getting away with it because of how he apparently does the promos, and everybody's way into this 420 lifestyle that he's throwing out there on WWE television stuff,
weed
which
is fun.
Yeah, but like
weed is fun.
I mean,
funny seeing, like Tommy said, it's funny seeing little kids wearing those shirts last night at the arena.
Yeah, 420 bros, like they were everywhere. I'm like, it's not. I don't care about the message behind it. I don't care what people do. Like it's your life, right? But like, it's a weird character to put this much emphasis behind. And you're right on so many aspects too, because when he's bringing up this stuff with like Becky Lynch, I'm just thinking to myself, and again, I was doing this motion, like it's money. Like why would Rollins give a shit? Like, hey man, guess what? My wife makes bank.
Yes,
our family is going to be set so much earlier than everybody else in wrestling because she wrestles, she's top. I wrestle, I'm top. We make money. Like that's how it goes, man. Like if I was in.
And from a story point, from a story point of view, they've been on WWE screens together as husband and wife.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
They've acknowledged it. So it's like your wife's better than you. Well, no, they're like the power couple.
Yeah,
we all know who they are.
And even if she is, that's how good you have to be better than me. Mm-hmm. You have to be Becky Lynch. Like my wife can wipe her ass and has more wrestling talent than you. Like, so like it's a weird thing to keep bringing up. And now
you're right.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, when you talk about like the idea that it's kind of sexist in that respect, it is, because you shouldn't have to bring somebody else's wife to disparage them, right? Because I mean, of the panel here, Nur-D, you are the only one that is married. Right. So if somebody was to come after you and say, I mean, not even heinous stuff, but like if they were to kind of give you like this weird backhanded compliment because of how successful your wife might be, how is that not like, and like,
I know
what's the fucking problem here?
One of the reasons I'm here. Like, like I don't marry people who are lame. Is that your point?
It's called support circle, man. Like you have to have those people in your life. And so if Becky's successful and I'm successful and we already had a kid and Becky came back from that, like, holy shit. And look at where the fuck we are. There's no reason to be all of a sudden like,
I'm mad. I'm mad about it. Because like
you got him.
Yeah, Riddle is saying your wife is successful and you're not as good, so you should feel bad. And Seth is like, your wife left you because your behavior is so bad that she took her kids and left you. It's like those are two different statements about somebody's wife. And one is like your wife's character is such that they can't be around you, and yours is my wife is good at the thing that we both do. Like it's weird. Like it's weird. Now him saying that, hey Seth, you haven't won a title in a very long time. That was a legit
go after that.
It wasn't as good as your wife and kids, your ex-wife and kid don't love you anymore. But at least it's something. Like something legitimate.
Yeah, and then we have Daniel Cormier come in on the screens to get in the middle of this.
That was horrendous. I'm sorry. That was horrendous.
I was like, how can WWE not afford to just fly Cormier out here for the go-home show?
Yeah.
Dude,
and it was clearly scripted. You could see him just reading it. Oh,
well, and when we're up there sitting next to each other, me and Ace, I was just said, we already know he's the guest referee. Why in the hell are they telling everybody again in the weirdest fucking way? Where it's like, I will be there.
And they
in
told
the
it
fight
like
cage.
we shouldn't have known that already.
Yeah.
I love when they do
It's
that.
so fucking
Big
dumb.
surprise! We announced it this morning. Big surprise, guys.
Yeah, I mean, they were
yeah.
introducing that in the arena of, hey, this is the fight pit with special guest referee Daniel Cormier. I was like, oh, shock, Daniel Cormier is right there on the video. Like, what the fuck are you trying to do? Like, excuse my language, everybody, but like, for real, what
Like,
is
we know.
wrong with the selling point on this? It's not like you thinking to yourself, everybody in WWE knows who this guy is. I mean, he's an announcer for UFC. He's been a UFC championship. He's a champion. He's beaten Cain Velasquez, who you had two times on your programming.
Yeah, they pulled that trigger way too early, though.
Yeah, I mean,
I just also also this fight pit thing, maybe I'm wrong, and if you are fans of Riddle out there, maybe you can sell me on this. But like, I don't think Riddle's character fits this match. The man walks out with Patrick Star briefs on a scooter, and I get it. Like, oh well, you think he's just this bro, but really he's like this MMA badass. And I get that he was in MMA, so I understand that it's real. But I'm just like,
well, you know what hurts is he was doing such a good job of going from that happy stoner guy to like all of a sudden I'm gonna kill you, but was doing it when he was pulling things from RKO. You know what I mean? He was
leeching
Randy
Orton.
doing the Randy Orton moves because he was with him all the time. Like that piqued my interest so much.
It made sense.
Yeah, because it was like, where is that going to go with these two eventually?
I thought eventually that Randy was going to be like, hey, drop the scooter. Or he was going to drop the scooter voluntarily. And like, I'm going to do this myself. And like, be a legitimate, like, because he should have Kevin Owens like vibe. Like Kevin Owens, the prize fighter. Like, I fight for money. I fight to win. I fight because I'm good at fighting. That should be Riddle's thing. Like, yeah, he could still be 420, bro, like if you wanted. But it's weird that he's like scooters and flip-flops and bunnies bouncing around. And then we're supposed to be like, oh, yeah, but also, like, I gotta beat you up. Like, And then also they keep trying to act like, again, is this real or not? Is this real or not? Because stop saying that, like, oh, well, Matt Riddle's a legit fighter. Seth Rollins is one of the best wrestlers in your company. He has won your top title multiple times. He has won every title in the business with the exception of the North American title that did not exist when he was in that area. The man is one of, if not the most decorated champion that you have currently. Stop acting like if either he's fighting for real or he's not.
well, and you're right. I mean, because not only in just this company, but he was a ROH champion, and he's a guy who's groomed enough and well adversed in the sport of wrestling that he's able to now teach people. So you can't say that he's not a viable person.
Yeah,
in that role.
It's weird. The whole bit is, it's gone on too long. I love Seth Rollins. I think he's a great heel character. These whole let's have one person fight Seth Rollins for 6 pay-per-views, the same person over and over again is stale. Let him go for a title. Have him go beat up Roman Reigns some more. Have him. That's why I said he's going to beat Bobby Lashley on Monday Night Raw. I can't imagine anything other than that. You know what I mean? I think give him a title. Give him some some walking around money at least, because this Riddle stuff is just outside of him calling that Riddle, like talking about his family on that one like camera one.
That was such a great one, though.
Outside of
the
that,
whole like, hey Matt, you still there?
Yeah,
and
like
just basically tells him he's a piece of shit, and it's like, oh, that was great.
That was the best bit. That was the best bit. That was the peak of this. That was the peak of their feud. This is.
So
Are you kidding me?
And I don't know if this is the exact order the card went last night, but we also had Dakota Kai against Candice LeRae in her debut Raw match.
We sure did.
Well,
We sure did.
I like Candice. It'd have been cool to see her get a win, but like none of these people win when they first come on, so it is what it is. Making Damage Control look tough. We also had Otis defeating Johnny Gargano. It's all right.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it. Whatever. Otis is always fun to watch. He's a big dude out there. And then we have Strowman come down and make the save, and then he gets his match with Gable.
Shout out to Gable, doing really great crowd work.
Yeah, dude, that guy is so good.
Really great crowd work.
Mm-hmm. And then we had the Solo Sikoa. How's he saying his last name?
Solo Sikoa.
Sikoa against Dawkins, which, man, we were talking about this last night, me and Tommy, and it's just kind of like, at this point, I don't know, we both were kind of like, do they just need to split up Street Profits?
Yes.
No. I don't think, if they split up the Street Profits, I think they do it like they did the New Day. I don't think they break up. I don't think they fall out. I think they go to different brands. I think that I think Dawkins is exceptionally good.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you let him, they both talk really well. Montez Ford is a once in a generation talent. He's definitely like a Shawn Michaels, in my opinion. I think he could be that good. I really do. I think he really has that kind of like swagger about him. In a boot, like in a boot, he was in the background, like doing so much that it was nuts. You know what I mean? Just
Right.
really throwing his energy around. He was like the way he was slamming the ring mat and yelling at Dawkins, telling him to get up. I would hate for him to be heel. I think he needs to be face. And if you turn Dawkins heel, it will bury him.
Yeah, it'll be a Tucker situation.
It'll be a Tucker situation. It'll bury him. He'll never get from under it. So what I think you should do is just New Day them. Have Dawkins go on to one brand and have Montez Ford be on the other. Have it be very amicable. Have them be able to get each other's back and help each other out. But I don't think you break them up. I think we always should be able to be like, the Street Profits are back, baby. Like, I think that should be something that could always happen until, like, maybe after a few bits, you get a barbershop window moment where we all go, oh, no. You know what I mean? Like, we're all like, oh, God, we never thought that would happen. Which is what I think they should do with Xavier Woods, but that's just me.
Goro, you're a piece of shit. I'm going to say right
you're
now.
on
Oh,
one
you were
tonight, Goro. Wow.
You are out of control.
Oh, my God.
You are a terrible, terrible
person. What? Get out of here. Oh, that is
wow.
Yeah, welcome to Goro's world. He says what he fucking wants to. We should ban him from the chat, but apparently everybody seems to like him. I don't. He's weird.
Goro's been here for a long time talking crazy shit in the chat room.
we kind of
leave him be. We kind of leave him be. Something else though with that whole Solo and Dawkins matches, again, this really was just furthering the plot of Sami Zayn and Jey Uso, which, I mean, Sami Zayn is just, this is the best I've seen him at right now. This is so fun to watch. And so we have theories. Matt, I don't know what your theory is on where this ends, but some guy last night was saying that Usos are turning on Sami. You just wait and watch. Extreme Rules are turning on Sami. Me and JR are on the line of this is all a planned thing by Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and eventually they're going to take those tag titles off the Usos, and we're going to get the Steen Generico combination in WWE having gold. Mm-hmm. Where do you see this all heading to?
This is what I think is going to happen. Honestly, I think that Sami Zayn is in it. I don't believe it's an act. I don't believe he's like pretending. I don't think he's putting one over on Roman. It would be crazy That'd be cool. I think that would be really interesting, and it would immediately shoot Sami Zayn up to main event. Like he could beat Roman Reigns because he's gotten his head, and like he, Haluva kicks him. If he could somehow get his hands on the Money in the Bank, then I would believe that, because that's really the only way he's like wins. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Or if he wins the Rumble, which he won't. But like if he wins the Rumble, then maybe, like maybe.
True.
But what I think is going to happen is, Sami and Jay are going to keep fighting, and that fight is going to cost them the tag titles.
Okay.
I think that's what's going to happen. I think that fight's going to cost them the tag titles, or it's going to cost Roman one of the belts, or to either just to lose a match, because he hasn't lost a match in like however. It's going to cause them to lose something important to them. I would say it's the tag titles, mostly because I think that's like the only way to really continue the storyline. They lose it to like not the Street Profits, maybe not the New Day, some other team. They lose it because of Jay and Sammy's fighting. Roman is furious and is basically like Jay. It's Jay or Sammy, which is going to create the rift that we originally saw, which was Jay didn't want to be a part of this thing in the freaking first place.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And then to have Roman just be like, you could just replace me with Sami Zayn after all the talk about bloodline, blood. You beat me with an inch of my life for that. So then it shows a little fraction. Sammy versus Jay. Probably what will happen is Jimmy and Jay and Solo Sikoa beat up Sami Zayn, you know what I mean? Or like do something like Jay sides with or Jimmy sides with Jay. Solo is kind of in Sammy's corner. It's a little bit of a weird fracas. I think Sammy wins the match and everyone turns their back on Jay, which causes Jay to go feral and cost Roman something important, like the titles at Mania or something. Or Jay wins the Rumble, he won't, but like, or something crazy, and now Jay becomes the wild man, like the X bloodline, push Jay to a little bit of a higher standard, and then Sammy just is kind of like, I don't know what to do. Roman tells Sammy to, get rid of Jay. He fails to do so, so then Roman, incensed, beats Sammy within an inch of his life. Kevin Owens makes the save. They go off to be tag team best buddies together. That's what I think happens.
So why do you not have your own company that you're booking for?
He's gonna reach out to Freddie Prinz.
Don't you worry about it. My WWE 2K 2023 is real cool. It's real bustling.
Real lit.
That's what I think is going to happen. I don't think it could go anyway, but I think that's the best way to do it. Because it needs to be a full story, right? And I think ending this where it began, which was with Jay, is the way to do it. If you're not going to bring in The Rock to be the final nail in the coffin, you need to end it with Jay. Like, because you have him bring it back to like, you made this happen. I'm going to tear down everything you built because I know where all the bodies are buried, Roman. I was the first. Like, I was the first one. I was the one who made it all happen. So then he systematically takes everybody out because he remembers. Have him go full Sting. Like, I know that sounds weird, but have him go full Sting. Don't give him... Well, maybe you can give him... Remember when Samoa Joe had that face paint during the main event Raffia run, and he would like run in and beat people up, and he had the face paint, and he had the big old sword, and he was like, like the Nation of Violence or something like that.
Yes,
maybe something similar to that. Like, have him have like some really cool freaking Samoan face paint. Have him like, because remember they used to do like the haka.
Yeah.
Have him go back to that, and like, but just like this savage, like from the shadows, from the rafters. Oh my God, it's Jay! He's here, and he's coming out. Oh my God! and he's like, and then everyone gets in on it. You know what I mean? Because that could be super big face. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Have him be like this badass, like Samoan murder machine. That's me.
Oh man,
I like
Gore,
it.
that's way too
That's what
long
I
to
should
read
say.
right there.
I know I was Gore, but no, I like it. I just don't let Jay drive to wherever he's going.
He's a menace.
Shit.
He's a menace.
Real quick, this has nothing to do with Raw, but like, is the trigger going to get pulled finally on the Sasha Banks and Naomi return? Because I feel like that was talked about forever, and now it's just like they're doing their own thing.
Sasha Banks changed her Twitter handle to not be Sasha Banks anymore. So I think the conversation went the other way. I think if it was gonna happen, they would have brought it in already. I think we wouldn't be using Asuka and Alexa if that was gonna be a thing. They would have taken them out more permanently. Coming up to this, if that makes sense. Maybe we might get like nice. Like I think if we were to do something like that, you would have to take out Asuka and Alexa in a big, permanent, visible way on the show before you introduce them.
Okay.
Because Banks, not Banks. Oh my goodness, I just completely. Bianca has to be able to look like she's all alone, and then. Like Damage Control needs to do like the whole Shield thing where they're on one side and the other side and the other side and there's nowhere she can go. And then all of a sudden you hear,
well, you'll hear a new song because they've been
a new
gone
song
too
because
long.
they've been gone for too long.
All right, I like it.
Sexual Seduction by Snoop Dogg.
Oh, that would
Sexual
Seduction. And then we get the Bayley and Bianca Belair contract signing, which we were making jokes because we were like, what why is Nur-D booing Bayley down there? That's not cool.
I was booing her hardcore. I was real loud. I could tell they did not like me.
Oh, that's great. You seem to be the spot where the cameramen had all their meetings too.
Yeah, no, good. I think they were trying to keep me from being on TV. I was so expressive and loud. I was like, no, I'm gonna get my shit in.
So I did realize something as when I spotted you initially, I realized something too. So they will allow the wrestlers to go down that right side all the way through down the ramp with the barricades there, right? Like the metal ones. And then as soon as they get to the ringside barricades where you're at, they basically also now you got to go to the other side because now this is where the hard camera has to come in. And this is continuity as far as everything's shot from the same side, right?
Yep.
So it's a weird thing because it's an old sitcom thing. It's an old like TV studio rigging thing where everything has to be shot from the same side because if you shot a different angle, people might be confused. Like,
well, I think what
it's
it
a live
is
fucking show. Goddamn it, we can understand this shit.
If you shot from the other side looking at me, you would see the tarped off area where no one's there.
Yep.
Right.
And so they were just like, all right, you can't do that. And so I think that's one of the reasons why they kept coming over because I was so loud and expressive that the wrestlers kept looking at me and because Montez Ford, Rhea Ripley, Bayley, a couple people gave me looks like this guy is like is getting the shit in. And like Montez Ford gave me a look that was like I see you, but they couldn't because if they did, they would get hit with that thing. So it was unfortunate that we were on that side of it because we would have gotten a little bit more, I think. But I think what I will say is that Bayley's promo, where she talked about I used to be you, it was oof. I remember when I heard it. I remember when I liked that better when Kofi did it to Daniel Bryan.
Mm-hmm.
It made more sense. Like it made more sense. Like I was like, or like you used to be me. Like when Kofi did the you used to be me, and you know what comes next. Like that was good. I think this one was a little weird. I don't know.
It started out it did start out a little odd. You know what was funny is I seen on Twitter today, someone posted a picture of their kid with a little just like regular size piece of paper, but they made a sign that said Bailey fan or something on that, and they're like, "We hope Bailey sees her sign tonight," or something like, "Oh, look, some kids still have Bailey signs." And Bailey retweeted, and it was like, "How the hell am I supposed to see that tiny sign?" Like, just total still
Bailey's
on
heel
the
work
kid.
is
Like,
nuts.
so great.
I saw something
and
on
I
Twitter.
s-
Remember Izzy? Remember that Izzy
Yeah,
girl that used to be like, Izzy was like, Bailey disappointed me. Da, 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 like, I used to love you. And she was just like, I hate you. Like, that was like, it was the most heel Twitter stuff I haven't seen in a minute.
Yeah, dude. I
Great.
very much feel like they're gonna sign that Izzy girl eventually.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Have
If
her
she
face
wants to
Bailey,
wrestle.
but
Oh, yeah.
she's super. I think she's involved with the WOW, that women World of Women or Women of whatever it is.
That'd be cool if she came up and like cost Bailey the chance of going up the ladder. That would be amazing.
Would. I'm gonna say this, and I've said this before, but I'm just never going to let this go till it's gone. Bianca Belair's hair should be considered a foreign object, should not be allowed in the ring. That is a weapon. She has cheated every match she's won with using that hair. That's my
I don't
opinion.
think it's growing out of her, man. That's just called a loophole.
No,
That's just called a loophole, man. Like that'd be saying like Andre the Giant, his hands are so big, you can't. They should be weapons because they're basically sledgehammers. It's like, I mean, like, yeah, but
she doesn't have to use the hair to hit people, though.
I mean, he could use his elbows.
Ace is just bitter because he can't grow hair anymore.
You can't grow a 9-foot ponytail.
That's the
We all
level
know
he
that's
gets
not her
right
real
there.
hair.
I don't think that's a thing I'm bummed about, not being able to grow
a
9-foot ponytail.
On the panel right now, JR is the closest to growing a 9-foot ponytail.
JR probably has.
I cut off a bunch of it, you guys.
Oh no!
So there it is.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Sad day.
I had to cut off a bunch for day job.
Oh,
shit. I'm
God.
only to the shoulders now, guys.
Way shorter.
Look at this. But yeah, I think the whip again. I've always felt weird about it. I always feel I like seeing Bianca Belair just whip these white women on a regular basis. That being said, it is a little. Oh, JR. Stop it, man. Save it for the OnlyFans, boy.
They don't pay.
You gotta pay that for free.
Yep.
We can't get this for free. But yeah, no, I hear what you're saying though. Like it is a little like she does come to the ring with a whole whip and to go like a whole weapon and beat people up with it. I think that Bianca Belair her mic work is so interesting, unlike a lot of other people, because again, you don't see it often, but she just is allowed to be a black woman who lives right now. So she uses right now vernacular. She talks like how she talks, and I really think it's good. It's good. You can tell that she means what she says. Bailey seemed a little rehearsed, and Bianca seemed a little bit more off the cuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I will say that, but. I'm excited for their match. First ever women's ladder match for a title. That's super dope.
Yeah. Now, while this is going on, we see Bailey talk about her crew and Bianca's crew. We cut backstage to see Asuka and Alexa getting attacked, and Asuka getting her foot ruined in a chair. So that was sorry, JR. Your girl got it pretty bad last night. Which then leads to, again, Alexa Bliss having this really interesting stare down moment with the camera, like something big was going to happen, to just then be like, "Yo, I want you tonight." Which then became the main event, which was kind of funny because this happened right after ring announcer guy was like, "The main event tonight, Riddle and Seth Rollins."
Yeah.
For the dark match, which wasn't even a match.
No,
it's just
and they couldn't have had a match. We already knew that was not going to happen. So, they gave us.
Funny how many people still leave though.
Yeah, it is true. I remember when my first ever live WWE event, it was just, I don't remember what it was, but it was like this crazy, the show ended. It was like a SmackDown. Then all of a sudden they were like, we were about to get up and leave, and I was like, ladies and gentlemen, this next match is for the for the United States or something championship. And then it was Rusev versus John Cena. And I remember I lost my goddamn mind. I was like, wait, they're just gonna do that? And like I'm looking around and it was like for the title. And obviously it didn't change hands, but it was just like this whole thing. I remember being like, and there's none of the cameras are on. I'm just like, are we just witnessing something? They're just like doing for nothing. I didn't know about dark matches at that point. So I think that it's a cool thing to do, but yeah, it wasn't even a match. It was just they gave us the RKO, which is what we all wanted to see, and they let everybody go home. Bailey did the thing, talked about thing. Then they came out to the ring for Alexa Bliss versus
Io Sky.
I always want to say Io Shirai, which I still think, unless she wanted to change her name, that's dumb.
Mm-hmm.
If you can say, Lannister, Targaryen, Shablabbity, Bluebity, you can say Io Shirai. All right, let's stop changing people's names to make it easier for the white kids at home. All right, just.
Well, it's not even IO anymore. It's IYO is the first name too. So
it's just weird. Not a huge fan of it. I think she's still really great. It was surprisingly quiet in the arena for Alexa Bliss, and I think it had a lot to do with Ace, what you were saying. Everyone was expecting something with Bray to happen because that one time it did during one of her matches. The lights were going off and there was a thing. And Alexa, it was chance, and eventually we warmed up to it once we realized that there wasn't going to be any Bray shenanigans. I think the crowd eventually warmed up to it, but one of the problems is because both Io Sky and Alexa Bliss have been relegated to the bronze of their teams. You know what I mean? Because Dakota Kai is the silver medal. She's the right-hand lady of Bayley, it seems. Io Sky, English is her second language, therefore she doesn't talk as much, therefore she is seen as the other guy. And since Alexa Bliss isn't freaking Asuka, she's automatically the second. She's the other wheel, because you have Bianca the champ, Asuka one of the even though Alexa Bliss has a huge pedigree in comparison to to Io Sky, has a really big pedigree, she just kind of is around now. She doesn't have the creepy doll. She's not working with Bray. She's just kind of a girl who is there.
Yeah, it's her and Kevin Owens. They're kind of just we're gonna do something with you guys. Just hang out.
Just give it a minute,
Yeah.
And so it was pretty much it was hey, you guys want to see your third? You want to see Ringo Starr and the other guy fight, and you're just I guess. I don't not want to see it, but I don't know. It's odd that you're not letting the main people go. They did a couple cool spots. Always love the moves. Super, super cool that way. And then it just sort of ended. That was the other thing. It just ended.
It did. It just ended. We get the shot of Damage Control on the ladder, each holding titles. Obviously, that's probably foreshadowing what's going to eventually happen. But yeah, again, a go-home show for a premium live event, not a pay-per-view anymore. I got to remember that. Could have had a better ending.
Could have probably been more interesting, I think. I think Bianca Belair needs to be treated more importantly, I think. Again, Damage Control is great, but Damage Control is a good idea when they first introduced them at SummerSlam, right? Am I right? Was it SummerSlam?
Yep.
When they first introduced the concept of them all working together at SummerSlam, I was very excited. It sort of kind of fizzled out now to sort of just it's just another stable. It's just another vehicle for Bayley. Bayley even called them her weapons. You know what I mean? It's not even they're not even a team. They barely speak. Bayley speaks for them. And so it's just you could have had them just done other things.
Yeah.
It's very true. And even when they came out at SummerSlam and even last night, I don't know why Io Sky is looking like she's drunk coming to the ring, or like this motion she's doing. It feels very like Legend of the Drunken Master, Jackie Chan kind of shit. Like she's trying to do something to psych out the opponent, but then she still wrestles the same.
I think that's
It's
very
confusing.
I think it's very indicative of Japanese style professional wrestling.
Right.
I think that's what she like. That's a very heel move to do. And she's trying to be like, I don't respect anything. I just come out to the ring. Like it'd be what? Give her a bottle. Freaking give her a bottle. Let her be. Have her be like, I'm just here to party. I'm just here to get drunk and moonsault. Like I don't give two shits what's happening or what's going on. Like that would be something at least.
Yeah. So in my opinion, if you're gonna do like an aloof character like that, Naito is kind of who you should maybe model it after. You know, when he held the IC and he's just throwing it over his shoulder, or hell, he get in the ring, all of a sudden just tosses it out of the ring and it hits the floor. Like he's very like, whatever. This is not what I want to do.
Orange Cassidy kind of.
Yeah, like just like you got to be almost cool about it, you know. Like, and it just seems like they're not really hitting the mark quite right with Io, where it just kind of falls a little bit flat, or like almost disingenuous about who she really wants to be at this point. So
like I say, like you said, Drunken Master. Really, I think there's something to be. I know, granted, it's a kid show. I mean, it's not a kid show, but it's a kid show. So you can't really show her getting drunk, or getting faded. But I think that would at least differentiate her from Dakota Kai, because what are they? Like, what are they? Why them? Like, why them? Like, why Dakota Kai? Why Io Sky? Dakota Kai, like, I remember, like, she has the kick, she has a scorpion kick, like, maybe she loves violence. That's why I picked her, because she loves violence and And I picked Io Sky because Io Sky will do anything because she doesn't care about anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that, give us the reason why you picked them. And then so when Io Sky's coming down to the ring, like, I don't really care. Like, it's whatever.
Yeah.
And have her do a move where someone tries to hit her and she just, like, flops down. And, like, have it be, like, frustrating to wrestle her because she doesn't care about doing the things that you need to do in a wrestling match, you know? Have her spend time outside of the ring and, like, walk around and grab a bottle, like, you know, like, and drink out of it and be like,
hey, I mean, R-Truth smoked a cigarette on TV once at a match, so why not?
Well,
and you have Stone Cold Steve Austin,
and you have
always
Stone
catching
Cold.
beers.
So let me ask you, JR, let me ask you this then, because we all three of us were there last night. Did you watch Raw last night?
I only watched part of it. I didn't get to watch the entire thing.
Well, what you watched, how was it on TV?
He watched 7 to 8 o'clock and then he went to bed because he's an old ass fucking dude.
No, I actually watched because I didn't get back over here. I watched some of it. So I got to tell you this, Matt. You don't know this. My oldest son and his family have gone on a trip, and I am now the babysitter of 3 dogs and 3 chickens.
Oh, that's an interesting combo.
It is, and the what I thought would be the easiest is the most difficult, and that's keeping the chicken shit off the deck. So the chickens will go in at dusk to their coop, but the dogs still need to go out later than that. So the problem is that I'm taking care of these. It's only 1 week, thank God. But so I didn't get to watch the whole thing, and then I got to come back home and go to sleep because I can't sleep over there. I gotta do my day job here, all my stuff. So anyway, it's a long story. But anyway, what I did watch, I thought looked good. It looked like the XL was very full.
It did, and it was.
And so it surprised me that you said that there were some canvases where they had blacked out, because I didn't notice that at all on TV. And they did some like full bowl shots, and it looked just absolutely full.
It was just the hard cam side, I think, and like the whole section of the hard cam side was tarped off, which you would only see if you were looking from
like
Right.
direct where I was sitting upwards. Every place else was pretty darn attended.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
whole lower bowl was pretty full, except for the sections blocked off for production. We were in club level. One side of the club level was being used. So, I mean, for what attendances are nowadays, yeah, it wasn't bad.
You know, it wasn't bad, and people were really enjoying themselves. Like I said, there were some really hype moments. I think the people really got really pretty elevated. The Gable match was huge. I think that was the biggest pop of the night, if I'm honest.
Yep.
I think that Braun Strowman coming out and Gable was the loudest we got. The second would probably only be to like the Bobby Lashley stuff and the singing of Rollins's music. I'm trying to think if it was another pop that you would say that was like bigger than those two. I honestly wouldn't think there was another one.
No.
Well, I mean, I guess there was the boos for when Chad Gable said that he was going to move to Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Yes,
but,
yep, he said he was going to move to Green Bay, and we all booed him.
Yeah, so I mean,
And
there
that
was
was
some
really
cheers
cool.
and then the boos. So it's a great move on his
Let
part.
me ask you guys, because you've seen WWE now at the X, and you saw AEW at the Target Center.
Mhm.
Which from comfortability to watch,
Mhm.
from the show, from
XL.
the production, which was all of it. How does it all compare?
XL. Is that what you're asking? The better venue?
No, I'm not. I'm asking. I'm
The
asking.
the whole
better
show.
venue, but the whole thing in general.
Well, yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to say you went to your first AEW show with us just a couple months ago. So, yeah, this is an interesting question for you.
I think that, first of all, I love the XL Energy Center. I think it's great. I don't think we get enough love for that venue. I like the Target Center just because the Jumbotron's a lot easier to see, and it gives more options for people no matter where you're sitting at, you know, to kind of like watch some of like the segments and stuff like that. But that's like nitpicky. Honestly, they're very. It's like comparing. I got to be careful.
It's like comparing Nur-D and the Eagles.
I gotta be careful with how I say what I'm about to say. I will say this: WWE is the best professional wrestling that's ever existed, and if anyone has anything I'm about to say after this will not be reflection of Nur-D or Nur-D LLC for any sort of. For anybody, if you're recording this, you can just maybe stop after I say this sentence. That being said. They are very different shows.
Absolutely.
The production and how they do that is very, very different. One audience does their show like it's a sporting event for kids, and the other one does it like it's a wrestling show for adults. You can tell with how they do their segments in between, how they engage with the fans or don't. Like, that stuff is apparent. I won't say which one is which, but I will say that if you go to a live show, you will know which one has a kiss cam and which one doesn't. And that's not a knock on doing it. It's just a very different vibe, if that makes any sense.
Makes perfect sense.
So last night was my first WWE. I've been to NXT at Roy Wilkins a couple
times.
I
didn't know that.
Yeah, last night was my first ever live WWE event.
That's crazy.
But also, I can't really compare it. So, like AEW, I was on opposite stage side in a corner. And last night, we were so close to the stage side. When the pyro goes off, I mean, it is so loud. It just hits you so, like, I can't believe Batista was able to put up with so much of that right behind him coming to the stage. You know what I mean? Like, so that was one thing. It seemed louder with how much speakers were going right at us from the club level and last night than it was ever at Target Center. But that's also, again, how XL is built, where, you know, everything is more of a wall and not the gradual incline like Target Center is. And that's built because it's a hockey arena and stuff like that. So it's supposed to be more up so you can see the ice a little bit better from every angle.
Yep.
So again, different venues, different production value, different seating for me. So that's a whole nother thing around it. But I do like how WWE has the sturdier barriers. I think this whole guardrail bullshit needs to be done, especially with how much they use it. Because I think after a while, you will get fans who realize that even though you say ringside, you're, likely to get hit by these barricades, somebody will find a caveat and a loophole into actually suing you for this stupid shit. So like they need to find a better way of doing this
or
for
going
AEW.
business for themselves.
Yeah,
Because-
and like
because fans are wild that way.
yeah, and I know like when Raw first started, they were doing the barricades like that, the rails, you would have for like marathons and all that shit, and WCW made fine use of it and stuff like that. But if you're gonna have so many outside spots where you're throwing another guy into the rings or into the railings like that, you need to have real barricades. I mean, I worked shows and concert venues and stuff like that where you have the hardcore venue or guardrails where you have security down front in front of the stage so nobody can get there and stuff like that, and those don't move.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying you need to go that far, but that's exactly what they have on the rails and on the ramp side until you get to the actual barricades where WWE starts it with the padded and then even like the LED screens that they have, obviously hard camera and all that sort of stuff. So
Yeah.
it's different values, different qualities, different areas where they want to produce stuff. AEW is putting a lot more money into licensing original songs for the wrestlers than WWE is. WWE's brought in more pyrotechnics or brought those back now again.
Yep, they brought them back.
So again, it's different values on that stuff. But I think when you really come down to it, what you see in the ring is still very, very similar as far as how they want to shoot it. You still have a lot of ringside looks. I think AEW has more ringside cameras as far as like different cameramen ringside. Seems like WWE's more set on having the hard cam and a couple camera guys down on the ring or on the floor, but
Mm-hmm.
it's still a lot of fun for both of them, and they're just a little bit different.
Yeah, no, and it really is. It is different. I think there's a clear, who it's targeted for.
Right.
Now, one last question for you, Ace, about this, because you and I went to the SmackDown when the first SmackDown back to a live audience, which was at the Target Center, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now this show that you went to, one of the things that we remarked about was the commercial breaks they had filled with really entertaining stuff. Did they do the same thing on Raw?
I mean, it was basically three different versions of like crowd video. Like, oh hey, show us your people's eyebrows, show us your DX.
So not like when
we were at that SmackDown, you had Pat McAfee ripping stuff during commercial break, getting the crowd amp and stuff like that. No, it wasn't like that. Again, though, they've been back for like a year now. So, we were, fourth show on the road since the pandemic. So, obviously, they were probably excited to get out the gates. But no, so I would say the commercial breaks were a little bit more stale, minus the Bray Wyatt. We all assume the Bray Wyatt tease that happened, but
I will say that I wish that, and I think that the guy who they have, I forget who's his name, but the guy who does the announcing for in between matches, what the other company, I'm doing really well to make sure I keep my stuff. What another company
Gotta
does
get paid,
well,
man.
yeah, another company does well is where when you go to an indie show, your local professional wrestling show, they really make you feel like you're wanted, that you are an integral part of what makes this interesting and fun. And they want to hear how you feel about not only the show, but the product as a whole. They're not trying to remind you of anything or of things that you might have forgotten. They're trying to hear from you right now. So it's not really so much as many callbacks to things that used to be cool a while ago, but it's just like, hey, 138, I hear you guys are really, I think about that still, how those guys are just shouting
that whole section,
their section out. And
Fuck
then the guy
those
was
dudes.
just like, hey, 138. You know, you guys are real like letting them get their shit in. Essentially, like, yo, you bought the ticket to come through, and that's a very indie thing to do. Like, you guys bought your tickets. We can't do this without you. Therefore, it's not about this brand. It's about you tonight. We'll build the brand on the show. Don't worry about that. We want to make sure that you guys are all feeling good. And some other companies sometimes are like, aren't we a really great brand? Aren't we a really great brand? The answer is yes, of course, the best brand that's possibly ever been. Other, please keep letting me do things and giving me stuff. But like, you know, there's something to be said about catering to the dance with the girl you brought. You know what I mean? Am I saying that correctly? Dance with the girl you brought.
Yes, that's the saying. That's exactly what. That's I think one thing that's been kind of lost in a lot of this whole back and forth between the different major brands and stuff like that. Because I mean, really, what is a major brand at this point? I mean, we still talk about New Japan, we still talk about Impact, we still talk about NWA. I mean, I even brought up MLW with a couple people last night. So like the reality is like people know different brands, people know different shows. So yeah, dance with the one who brought you or whatever. Like it's kind of lost a little bit in some realms, but I think it's pertinent to what we want to see from these promotions and stuff. You know, like really what got you the fans, what got you there in the first place.
That's right. And well, it was an interesting go-home show to what's going to be Saturday night. Extreme Rules. We're not running through that card. Sorry, guys.
No.
We were going to do it, but we're not doing that anymore.
It's a jumbled card anyways, man.
Yeah. Nur-D, Matt, whatever you want us to call you. It's always a pleasure when you come through here. We appreciate you being so cool with us.
You guys are the boss. You guys are the bomb. Like, seriously. And I know I talk a lot and often. So I appreciate you letting me just ramble.
Dude, we love it, man. Seriously.
Yeah, you are definitely a part of the 2 count. You always will be forever now. So you'll be back on. We have some special stuff we want to do over the next year, and some of that might involve you. But real quick, what do you got? Let people know. I know the new album's out. It's been out for a little while. Tell people to get on that.
Let everybody know. It. Yeah, no, Heaven is dope. Get on it, please. Also, please tell if you're a wrestling fan, and I know you all are because you're listening to the 2 count, you're watching the 2 count. Please tell WWE that Nur-D is amazing. Take the time to like tag me and them in the same thing. Say like, yo, he makes me want to go buy tickets. He makes me want to buy merch because it helps. It really does. That's the only thing they care about is what moves the needle in that way. And so if you can do that and then see that I can do that. That means more of me on the programming. And you know me, I love the game, so I'm not going to be doing anything nonsensical. But outside of that, if you want to come see me and do my thing, the next big event you're going to see me at, you can buy tickets to. I have a lot of private events, but that's on my OnlyFans page. You can see me at. I have a big Halloween bash on the 28th with Frogtown Radio. That's going to be super cool. And then I also have a huge concert with the entire Friendly Neighborhood Spider Band on the 29th at Lake Monster Brewing here. It's going to be a lot of fun. Bring your costumes, bring your appetite, bring your dancing shoes. It's going to be a lot of fun. Always Nur-D Rocks on all social media. That's Nur-D Rocks. Stream Heaven on all your streaming services. And I don't know, tell somebody you think I'm handsome. That helps me out as well. And just to get it out in the world.
He's definitely worth a view. That's what he's saying, everybody.
That's right. Worth a view. We out here for real.
Right, Tommy, you got anything coming up?
The 14th, I will be up at the North in Coon Rapids. It's the old Willie's location where you're going to do a showcase up there with some OG Willie's participants for comedy. And then the 15th, I'm going to apparently be hosting at the Silly Beaver comedy show at the Beaver Island Brewing in St. Cloud. And then unfortunately, I will be in South Dakota on the 29th, so I won't be able to make that show at Lake Monster. I wanted to be. Once I saw it, I was like, oh, shit, I'm going to for sure be there. And I'm out in South Dakota, which is
it's all good.
not fun. But, you know, I'm going to tell everybody that's going to stay in the cities to for sure go over there because, first of all, Lake Monster is great. And Nur-D, obviously fantastic. I literally went to Smoke Out last Sunday just for not only my boy Nur-D, but my boy Corey, who owns Jelly Bean Julia's, who had the absolute best brisket and PB&J sandwich of all time. Their line was packed all day.
That was your friend. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I know we're not talking about, we're wrapping up. That was the craziest. I've never had a peanut butter and brisket. They had a little snack bite. That was nuts. It changed my life. I'm a different person. I went home and I kissed my wife so passionately. Like, y'all need to get out.
Somebody clip that for me right now. I'm going to send it over to Corey for sure, dude. Like, this is advertising, man. Like, pay Nur-D whatever you need to, man, for sure. Because, Sunday was amazing, man. Like, I got to hang out with my buddy Rodney, our DJ Ruka, and his buddy Jay, who run Retox over at Cowboy Jacks and stuff. Yeah. Oh, dude, I grew up with Ruka, man. Like, literally a block away.
I worked on a show with him in Arkansas.
Hell yeah, dude.
Cool.
But like legitimately, man, like it was great to see Nur-D not only on Sunday, but seeing him from afar on Monday, having him here tonight. It's been fantastic, man.
JR, you got anything?
I'm surprised. I'll be honest with you. I'm surprised that Tom didn't mention him celebrating 10 years of comedy, which is fantastic. And dude, which is fantastic. And Tom was kind enough to ask me to come to Clear Lake, Wisconsin with him for one of the shows to celebrate his 10 years along with James Wells. And I'll tell you what, we had so much fun up there that I encourage you, go and see Tom when he's out working somewhere.
Yes, you got to.
Man, thank you, JR.
It really was fun. Next thing I'll be doing is I'm over at Johnny's in River Falls with Todd Andrews on the 20th. I'm running the show, I guess, at Running Aces on the 29th. And then November 5th, I'll be up at Dublin's in Duluth. That'll be it.
Very nice. October 22nd, Newton, Iowa, Madhouse Wrestling. Come catch us. Pack show plan. It's going to be amazing in the Thunderdome. Just announced as well, November 11th. It's a Friday night. Taking the show to Cedar Rapids. Madhouse Wrestling taking over Iowa. Not even in the full year. We've done it in like 6 months. And also IWTV. If you don't belong to IWTV, please go subscribe to IWTV and watch the last Madhouse show. It is up there. It's running. You can see me looking all glorious in the ring, and it was just a great show also. So go check it out.
By the way, happy birthday to our buddy Luke Raven, huh?
Yeah, I didn't see him hop in. So if he is by chance listening, happy birthday, Luke Raven.
Happy birthday,
boss. So yeah, we, again, October 22nd, get your tickets for that. Ringside sold out. And November 11th, that Friday night down in Cedar Rapids, we'll be down there.
Awesome. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Nur-D, thank you again so much. Always a pleasure.
Thanks,
and folks, we will see you. Who do we have next week?
Tommy.
Ricky Norn, the Reverend Ricky Norn. He's going to be telling us about his death match coming up against Heavy Metal Lore at Time Bomb Pro Wrestling up in Fargo for the 13th. So next week, the 11th, be here, everybody, for the Reverend Ricky Norn.
That will be awesome. Thank you so much for your support, folks. We appreciate it very, very much. And we will see you next week. Bye-bye.